Let's say a state-owned enterprise wants to borrow $100 to finance some of its investment activities. External borrowing would have been much cheaper for the state-owned enterprise, but it's not allowed to borrow abroad. So, instead, government borrows $100 on behalf of the state-owned enterprise from a bank abroad. And then, government on-lends these proceeds to the state-owned enterprise. So here, we have two separate financial claims. First, the foreign bank has an external financial claim in the form of a loan on the government. Government has an external debt liability in the form of a loan to the foreign bank. Of course, it is also possible that this debt liability is in the form of debt securities or another debt instrument. Second, because of the on-lending, the government has a domestic financial claim, typically in the form of a loan, on the state-owned enterprise. The state-owned enterprise has a domestic debt liability in the form of a loan to the government. Because the government and the state-owned enterprise are both public sector units, these stock positions will be eliminated in consolidation when statistics for these two units are combined. Typically, the unit to which government on-lends is a resident, inside or outside the public sector. But it could be a non-resident too. In that case, an external debt liability and external financial claim are involved. The servicing of these two separate debt liabilities should also be handled with caution. The repayment of each of the two debt liabilities is recorded in the books of the unit in whose balance sheet each debt liability appears. Thus, government has a debt liability to the foreign bank. The repayment of this external debt liability is recorded in the books of the government, even if the borrowed funds were on-lent to the state-owned enterprise, and if the state-owned enterprise is, in practice, repaying the foreign bank directly. Similarly, the repayment of the state-owned enterprise's domestic debt liability to the government is recorded in the books of the state-owned enterprise, regardless of what happened in practice. As you can see, we record these economic events separately and do not offset them against each other.